how is U.S. being bullied by China right now?
On many fronts. So if you want to get into the broad picture of it, the type of real bullying, if you were to ask me, that's when you get into things like economic theft, you get into things like culture, you get into things like drugs. Again, what they call unrestricted warfare. And it's based on, this is actually the name of a book. It's a lot of China experts talk about it as being kind of the basic framework through which China has waged an unconventional war on the United States. So 1999, two Chinese colonels wrote a book called Unrestricted Warfare, where they proposed a new system of war without morals. And it's based on a very simple way of thinking. Now, if you want to get into the nitty gritty, the gist of it, we could go on forever talking about all the different forms of unconventional war they run. Names all across the board, everything you could think of being targeted. But it comes down to this. It's a perception of saying, what would you want to achieve through warfare? And how can you achieve those exact same goals without engaging in open combat? And so, for example, culture warfare. China's, of course, gained significant control over Hollywood, not just through, say, manipulation, say, forcing them to abide by Chinese laws when it comes to censorship and propaganda, if they want to get their films into China, which is a huge market for Hollywood, especially right now when films aren't doing as hot. For example, buying up parts of ownership in, say, production houses, talent houses, buying AMC theaters, for example, these types of things. They can then control what is shown in our movies. For example, if they want to get into China, they can't show China in a negative light. They can't show the US military in a positive light if they want to get into China. They need to maintain, say, at least one scene in China. They have to have at least one Chinese actor or actress and so on. Certain requirements for that. And of course, the Chinese regime, Xi Jinping, actually back when they launched a lot of these operations, came out and said the United States is launching a culture war on China and said that they needed to retaliate. They talk about this stuff openly. When it comes to drug warfare, for example, how do you destroy the moral fabric of a society? We talk about things like these synthetic drugs, fentanyl, that comes from China. But what's actually not really as well known is that most of our drugs come from China. The drug cartels in Latin America, they get their precursor chemicals from China. In fact, there have been some reports saying that they're having trouble manufacturing because a lot of their labs they were getting their precursor chemicals from, for things like methamphetamine and other drugs, were coming from Wuhan, the epicenter of this virus. And so, you name it across the board. This is the real way they're bullying America.